Oh, what was the hot take on Nashville? It's weird because right. This is travel hot takes.
A hot take on Ireland is hello and welcome to another episode of Travel Hot Takes with Josh and Allison. I'm Josh Shear.
And I'm Allison Amini, and welcome.
Welcome. Oh my gosh, it's been a couple weeks since we've talked to each other, so I'm excited to catch up. Recap. I know we both just went on really incredible trips that we're going to share with everyone today. I like that you're like literally tipping your hat in tribute to your trip. Oh my god, I love it.
Okay, well, so I'm wearing a hat, right, cowboy hat, and I got my Dolly Parton shirt on. So where do you think I went, Josh?
I think you probably went to, well, I know the answer. You went to Nashville, and I'm
I
so
went to
excited to
Nashville.
hear about it.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yes.
So it was so exciting. It was my very first trip to Nashville. And I was
Oh,
sponsored by
I thought
both
you'd been
Virtue.
before.
No, I haven't spent much time in the South. So really, aside from like Florida, like Disney World and cruising and Miami, Fort Lauderdale, but I haven't spent much time in Southern culture. I've been to Savannah once. That was amazing. But I really wanted to
Beautiful.
spend a little bit more time in some cities in the South and get to know it a little bit more. And there was an opportunity between Virtuoso and the Nashville Tourism Board to go check out the city and see the highlights. So I took the opportunity and I'm so glad I did. I guess when you think about Nashville, what do you think about? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I mean, country music. That's the
Right.
first thing that comes to mind. And oh my gosh, what were they called? Goo Goo, the chocolate Google clusters. Thank you.
Goo Goo clusters, yeah. So that was like never what came to mind with me. I never heard about Goo Goo clusters before this trip.
You ever told me about them
Yeah,
beforehand, but I was like, I just wanted to say Google cluster. Frankly, let's be
of
honest.
course. So before I went on this trip, my whole like kind of thought about Nashville was like honky-tonks and cowboy boots and just like partying bachelorette party vibes. I got a lot of that from there. But I guess going, I learned so much more about the destination. One thing that really surprised me was that it's super family friendly. Like there are a lot of really
Cool.
great things that you can do with kids, like even the honky-tonks, like the partying honky-tonks that are down on Broadway. If you most of them before a certain time of day, you can go with your kids and they welcome children. So it's like family get that music on, just like bouncing from place to place, listening to all different kinds of music. And it's not just country music. There's rock and bluegrass and jazz and pop. It was just and so a huge, an amalgam of musical styles. We actually went to
Cool.
the National Museum of African American Music, which was amazing. I got to rap.
Wow.
Yes, I posted that on my Instagram stories if anyone got to see
I
me
love it.
rap.
Did you reveal a new like talent? Did you find any talent as a rapper?
I think talent is a strong word, but it was a very joyous experience.
I'm glad you had a good time.
I also got to go to the Grand Ole Opry, which is like one of those things that I probably never would have thought to do had I not gone on this trip. And I'm so glad I did. Like, just amazing the history in this place and just we went to the Ryman Auditorium. We recorded a little song in a studio that Elvis recorded in. His piano was
My
sitting like
goodness.
right there. Yeah. And yeah, it was just so much good food too. Real foodie town. Amazing food. And of course, the Goo Goo clusters.
Yes. So tell us about your itinerary. Like, what did you do first? Where did you go?
Yeah, so we split our time between two different hotels. We stayed in the Thompson and the Gulch, which is so we stayed in downtown Nashville, but it's a different kind of region. So we stayed in the Gulch first, at the Thompson more like modern kind of hotel, and then we moved to the Hermitage, which is
Oh,
just
gorgeous.
so rich, filled with history of the suffrage movement and women's rights, and it would and just I mean, gorgeous property and amazing service. Love the Hermitage. We took a trolley tour our first day just to kind of like get oriented to the city. We spent some time at Justin Timberlake's club, 1230, the 1230 Club. Had some drinks there, saw some live music. I mean, live music was an everyday thing. The following day, we had lunch with a local songwriter who like sat there and took our requests and explained like he played some of his own original songs and explained the history, the stories behind them. We did a tour of the historic studio, RCA Studio B, that I was talking about. Went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, which is where I got my Dolly shirt.
I
And
love it. I love that you're
as
representing full on today.
and as a Swiftie, I do have to say there's a lot of Taylor Swift like iconography around that town, and
Yes,
so I
I
was
saw a lot of
living
Taylor stuff. Tell us about the
living for
Taylor
it.
Swift of it all.
So yeah, so the Country Music Hall of Fame, there's a whole like section of her stuff. Like there were dresses from the Eras tour. Like it was funny. Everyone on the tour knew that I was a Swiftie, and so I walked into the room and I saw the purple enchanted ball gown across the room, and I went, and everyone laughed at me because I'm like, eh. But yeah, so that was, and then delicious food like every single night. One of the restaurants that we ate at actually 2 days later was then listed in the New York Times like best restaurants in the U.S. called Fancy Pants. So that was really exciting
Was
to
it fancy
experience that.
pants when you did you feel your pants get fancier while you were there?
It was quite fancy pants. Yeah. We had like just to give you a taste of how fancy pants it was, we had our like appetizer was a cookie, but it was a savory cookie flavored with mushrooms, and it was cut in the shape of a mushroom and served on a little red and white toadstool plate.
Oh, how cute is that? I want a savory mushroom toadstool plate mushroom shaped cookie now. Didn't know I wanted that, but here we are.
Yep.
Oh, that is so
So
good.
well,
Do you
that was
have
the
like a hot
theme.
take?
Oh, what was the hot take on Nashville? It's weird because right, this is travel hot takes, but my hot take is that Nashville is more than a place for partying and drinking. It's music in general. So my hot take is to not dismiss Nashville as just a party place. It is a place of like cultural significance, incredible food, and a place to have an amazing time with your family.
It's so, so good to hear. Well, I guess I have to get back to Nashville because I've been there before, but it has been a long time. So now I'm hearing about all this cool stuff and the music scene, and I think I gotta get myself down in Nashville.
You do. While I was kicking my boots and doing some line dancing, where were you up to?
I was kicking up my little Irish step dancing. I was not doing any step dancing. Let's not get those rumors started. As much as I would love to be able to, I have a tap dancing history, but not an Irish step dancing history. But I spent a fantastic, oh my gosh, otherworldly week in Ireland. So I was similarly, I was traveling with the Tourism Ireland, so the official tourism board of the country, and it was a really, really busy itinerary. So it was an opportunity to sort of see a lot of things in one week, and it truly was spectacular and the best of the country. So we flew into Dublin and we immediately went up north. We went to Belfast in Northern Ireland, which was not on my radar at all. First of all, the food scene, I was so surprised how really thriving the food scene is. There are some incredible chefs and restaurants in Belfast. We did this great cooking experience with a local chef where we made the brown Guinness bread, and then he prepared salmon for us 3 different ways. It was a smoked salmon, and we had a ceviche salmon as well, and then skewers. It was absolutely delicious. Making the bread also was really, really fun. From there, we did like a walking food tour, which, I love a walking food tour whenever I'm
We
in a new
love a walking
city.
food tour.
Right. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have lamb soup. But then, like, seafood chowder was an option. And I don't know, like, if you've ever gone up to New England, Massachusetts, like
Hmm.
a good chowder is a thing. So I almost felt like a traitor to the Northeast. But the seafood chowder I had here was, oh my gosh, so, so good. Also, just Guinness in the motherland was incredible. And I got to pour a Guinness from the tap, which I had never done before. It's a very, very specific thing. But then we went to the Titanic Museum. It's called Titanic Belfast.
Oh.
And just when you think you knew everything about Titanic, you realize, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know half as much as I thought I knew about Titanic. So it was actually built and left from Belfast. And at the museum, you could actually look out the window and see in the ground like the outline of the ship and where it stood before it left. And they had
Wow.
stateroom recreations. There was a recreation of the staircase, and it looks exactly like the staircase from the film because the film did such a good job of recreating what the ship looked like. But some of the stories that went along with it, I mean, obviously it's a heartbreaking story. We all know how that goes. But one thing that was so, so moving was there was this like case that had these keys locked up in it, and the keys had been left on shore. So the keys were not on the ship, But had the keys been on the ship, they would have been able to unlock this one door, which is where all the binoculars were held. So had they had binoculars, they would have seen the iceberg coming. Apparently, if they had seen the iceberg like 10 seconds sooner, they would have had enough time to get out of the way, and binoculars would have made that completely different. It was truly a series of like all 50 things have to go wrong for this accident to happen, and seemingly all 50 things went wrong. I didn't know I needed to go to the Titanic Museum, but I would recommend it to anybody. It was so moving, and the guide we were with knew so much about the history, and we were all so captivated by it. There were tears from everyone. It was just really moving. Then we spent the night at this gorgeous estate called Culloden in Belfast. It was like a 5-minute drive from this, excuse me, from the city center. The next day, we crossed over into Donegal, which is back in the Republic of Ireland. Although we stopped in Derry along the way, so we got to see the Derry Girls mural and walk around the town, which was so nice. But in Donegal, we stayed at a castle called Loch Esk, right on this beautiful lake, and we did a horse-drawn carriage ride. We did a whiskey tasting they have a whiskey cellar. It was absolutely incredible. And then the next morning, we went to this place called Hannah Hats, where they make the traditional Irish hats, the Donegal Traveller. You've definitely seen the hats. I'm having one made. I would be wearing it right now, but I haven't gotten it yet. They custom fitted, like measured my head, and are shipping the hat. So I will have to report
Wow.
back once I get the actual hat. We went to Galway for a night, which was so nice, in a smaller town called Sligo along the way. We went off-roading in the Burren. I had never been off-roading before.
Wow.
Yes, it was so cool. It was basically these Jeeps that could handle different types of terrain, and the company we were traveling with, they basically have connections with private landowners. So we were able to drive onto this property and be the only people at the beach. Oh my gosh, and the weather was wild. It would be like it was sunny and beautiful when we got there, and then all of a sudden like this huge rain came in, and all this wind, and the temperature dropped, and we were having like freshly shucked oysters on the beach, which I couldn't believe. And then we drove up to the Cliffs of Moher in this area, and because we were with this company, we were again on private land. So we're like, so this is the parking lot where the buses go, and we went right past it, and we went up past this gate, and there were donkeys on the side of the road. You know, I love a donkey. Anytime I see a
You
donkey, I'll
gotta
take a
take a
selfie with
donkey
a donkey. You
selfie.
gotta take a donkey selfie. I'm so sorry. I'll always do it. And the views from the Cliff of Moher were just unbelievable. I did not know that Ireland had such an incredible landscape, and also just the hospitality of the people of Ireland.
Yeah.
Everyone you met was friendlier than the next person, and like in a genuine way, people genuinely enjoy striking up conversation with a stranger. There's just a warmth in the culture that I was just moved by, and every person seemed to be a fantastic storyteller and was so happy to tell you. One phrase I kept hearing at the end of every story, someone would say, "Never let the truth get in the way of a good story," which I think is like such a fun way, right? But there were so many wonderful things. We stayed at several castles, so we also went to Glenlow Abbey that we got to stay in. We stayed in Dromoland Castle in County Clare, which, oh my God, completely took my heart away. We also went and visited Adair Manor in Limerick, and actually it's where the Ryder Cup is going to be in 2027 for all of our
Oh.
golf clients and golf fans. Yes, Ireland is an incredible destination for golfers. Another first I got to do on this trip was falconry. I don't know if you've ever done falconry
I did
before,
it
but
in
you
Ireland
basically,
last year, is where I
oh,
had
how
my first falconry
cool.
experience. Yes. Okay, we'll
Yes,
have to
like,
share our falconry photos because I have a fantastic one with an owl.
oh my God, we'll have to wait. I held two different types of owls. One of them was like a snowy white owl named Olaf. He was just white with these bright gold eyes. I held a falcon and a buzzard, which I had no idea were
A
two separate
buzzard.
birds. A buzzard, I know. And we didn't get to hold, but the biggest bird that they brought out was American bald eagle. And we all got to take photo with it. Like that guy looked right into my soul. Like he contemplated eating me. I'm glad he didn't
Yeah.
try to, because that would have I probably would have lost, frankly. Let's be
One
honest.
swift
But it was
move and you would have
so
lost an eye.
I know, it really was. I was like, you hold on to that tether, sir. Thank you so much. I did not just get eaten by a bald eagle. That would not be an email I would like to have to send to anyone or a phone call I would like to make. So after we left Falconry, we had beautiful lunch at Adair Manor, and then I went on my first ever helicopter ride. Have you ever gotten to go on a helicopter before?
Yes,
Because
I
it
did it
was
actually in Australia.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh. Isn't it wild? I was just like a kid in a candy store the whole time. Like my eyes were like, ah! Because we went up
What?
and
Where
we
did you fly over? Like, what was the
so
scenery from the helicopter?
it was actually a transfer. So we went from Adair
Oh,
Manor. So we go up and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous view, and it's a castle. So and Ireland is green, but it's even greener from above, and just seeing all the different landscapes. What would have been like an hour, 15-minute drive or so was only about a 10-15 minute helicopter transfer. And we
wow.
went from Adair Manor all the way to Cashel, and we went right over the Rock of Cashel, which is one of the historic sites, and I don't even know how old it is, hundreds and hundreds of years old. It's incredible. And we stayed at a property that's part of Relay and Chateau called Cashel Palace in the town of Cashel, which was, oh my gosh, so, so charming. It's a great strategic location in Ireland because it's an hour drive from several different places. So you could stay in Cashel. You could obviously go visit the Rock. They have a Guinness bar downstairs, which you're like, oh, a bar named Guinness. It's actually where the first Guinness was brewed in Ireland, was
Oh.
in the town of Cashel. And they actually, in the garden behind the hotel, they took us through and they showed us like the hops garden where the first Guinness like hops came from, and they're still growing in the same garden. It was absolutely incredible.
And you
And
got to pull
from
your pint of Guinness?
no, that was actually in Belfast. The other thing we got to do really cool in Cashel was we went to a stud farm. I learned all about thoroughbred horses and horse breeding, which you could pay 10,000 euro for your mare to breed with a certain stud. You could spend 300,000 euro for your mare to breed with a certain stud.
Wow.
And then from Cashel, we drove back up to Dublin. We stayed gorgeous, gorgeous historic property, the Marion, which is a number of Georgian townhouses that are connected. So if you don't know what's there, you could kind of walk by, hidden in plain sight. Oh my gosh, one of my other favorite things, I can't believe I almost forgot to say, was we went to a sheep farm. So this was a sheep farmer who's several generations of his family were sheep farmers, and the way he spoke to each dog, some he spoke to in English, some he spoke to in Gaelic, Irish. He had whistle commands, and watching each of them react to their commands on a dime and wrangle up these sheep. I got to hold a baby sheep that wasn't even 24 hours old. I
Oh
had
my
no chill either. I was
goodness.
like, oh, look at this bambama. It was absolutely nuts. So, all in all, it was absolutely spectacular. It was a destination I was already excited about, but now I'm like preaching Ireland from the rooftops. But that's part of what's great about what we do. We get to fall in love
Yeah.
with all these different destinations and learn about them and then share them with our clients.
Well, so if you're so deeply in love with Ireland, Josh, then I have to ask you, what is your hot take?
My hot take on Ireland is don't skip the north. Every Ireland itinerary that I look at is going to include Dublin, which Dublin is great. Do not get me wrong. But to only do Dublin, I think would be a disservice for a trip to Ireland, which was the first time I went. It was 10 years ago. I spent 3 nights in Dublin, did a quick day trip to Howth, which was gorgeous. I'm glad I'd done that. But I'm so glad I got out of the city and saw other counties, going to County Clare. But we didn't do the south coast of Ireland.
Mm.
So I'm so glad I got to see Donegal and Northern Ireland. It's a completely welcoming, beautiful, beautiful destination, both from Northern Ireland, so Belfast and Derry, and then Donegal as well. Hot take is don't skip the north. There is so much Ireland to see, and I'm really, really excited to be able to share it with travelers going there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're going to Dublin, you're not really seeing Ireland. You're just kind of seeing a city. When I went last year with my son, Dublin was actually his least favorite part. He loved getting out into the
Really?
greenery. He loved Limerick. He loved Cork. We went down to Cork. And we actually did do a step dancing class. We learned how to Irish
How
step dance.
fun.
It was so
How
fun. We
did
did
you
that in Limerick.
how did you do with that? Have
I was
fun
not that
doing it?
great. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, but I'm not going to say I'm not quitting my day job.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Similarly, like in the north, they had the one thing that we did was this is actually really beautiful. It was set up to do painting of this gorgeous landscape, and there was a hill and there were sheep. and they had like traced it out for us and gave us instructions, and we were all painting our little paintings. And I am happy to report, or sad to report, there were absolutely no hidden talents revealed. Like it was, if I was 6 years old, it would have been equally good as I am at my current
But it's
age.
always, don't
But it
you
was
love like
fun.
going
Yeah, it was
when
a
you
fun
travel to do
time.
those kinds of paint? I did one of those on a Virgin Voyage, actually. I did a
Oh,
painting,
did
and
you?
I yeah, and it actually, it's not going to be hanging in the Louvre anytime soon, but it is hanging in my bathroom, and it
No.
makes me smile every time I walk in.
That's very good. I think ours, they were like, oh, we're gonna hang them in the bathrooms at our hotel. I'm like, no, you're not. Your guests will not be impressed
Trash.
by my painting, and that's okay. It's okay. We can't all be good at everything. I am not a painter. I'm okay to say
Yeah.
that. But yeah, and the other thing I was really just blown away by was the food. The food in Ireland was so good. Similar to, the northeast of the US, the water's colder, like the Gulf Stream. So it is some of the freshest seafood that I've ever had. There was elegant dining. We went to pubs. I had oh my gosh, fantastic fish and chips. Oh my gosh, in Sligo, I believe it was. I bought myself an Irish linen vest. I was like, I'm going to be like an Irish gentleman tonight at dinner at Dromoland Castle, which, oh my gosh, I don't want to say favorites, but Dromoland Castle was just a very special place to stay. Everywhere we stayed
Mm.
was special, but Dromoland will, I think, just stay with me because it's really, really incredible. And now I'm connected to the team there, so I'm really like just happy to be able to provide that for clients.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah,
speaking of
thank you, thank
clients,
you.
what are you working on right now?
Oh, wow. Well, I actually just, right before we're meeting, I just got off a call with a client who returned a few days ago from a beautiful 2-week trip in Italy. It was one of those, I love to talk to a client after a trip as well. And it was the words, this was the greatest vacation of my life, were said, which was so,
Doesn't
so
that make you feel
thrilling.
so good when you hear that from a
Yes,
client?
yes, yes, it does. Because this was a very involved trip. So the client had a milestone birthday, and she chartered a yacht for herself and like 10 friends. And before the yacht, they spent a few days in Naples, Italy. The yacht went around the Amalfi Coast. So they went to Sorrento, and they went to Amalfi, the town, and Positano, and to Capri and Ischia. Like they went all around. And then afterwards, they went to Sicily, and they spent 3 nights in Syracuse and then 3 nights in Taormina at San Domenico Palace, the Four Seasons, aka the White Lotus. And
Mm.
actually, this was a really, really cool thing. The yacht that they chartered happened to be the yacht that was on the White Lotus as well. So
Oh,
they
really?
did the full, yeah, yeah. Which,
Not
like,
the
how
one in
cool
this
is that?
finale, right? Like, not the one.
Yes, the yacht from season 2.
Mm.
Yes, yes, yes. They had just a fantastic time and said greatest vacation of my life. So
And
those
what
are
a
always
story
the
that
kind
is
of
to tell
things,
about that's the yacht that you were on.
right? Like, and honestly, none of us knew beforehand that it was that
Yeah.
yacht. So she told me as we were recapping just now that I'm working on another Italy trip, actually, with a new client who's going to Rome and Venice, and to, oh my God, they're staying in Bellagio on Lake Como,
Hmm.
which is like one of the most beautiful towns in Italy. The Lake District is absolutely incredible. I'm actually working on an Ireland opportunity right now, which I'm well equipped to handle on. And Ireland is so fresh in
Perfect.
my brain, and like
Hmm.
so excited to be talking about. And I'm working on another Paris itinerary for a client. So got a few different things in the pipeline right now. How about yourself? I know it's
Fabulous.
always
Oh my
busy. Like
gosh.
we come back from traveling and it's like, oh my gosh, now I have so much catching up to do and things to work on.
Yeah, the whole week after we come back from a trip is just like insanity. But it's great. So, yeah, I'm
Oh yeah.
actually preparing. So, I'm preparing a lot of clients who I love my clients that they're all doing like shoulder season trips, which is like amazing. So, there's a lot of people, there's several people going to Europe. I have some people going to Amsterdam, another family going to London. I have a couple doing a river cruise on the Danube. Then we've got some fall foliage tours up in Maine. We have a cruise, a mother daughter cruise. So I'm just kind of helping send them off. And then for like the longer term, kind of like into 26, I have three separate Australia itineraries I'm working on. So that's like a hot destination for 26. I'm feeling this is the trend I'm seeing. And of course, Japan. I'm working on a Japan, actually a full foliage Japan and a summertime Japan for 26. So
So
that's
cool.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I have other clients leaving today for Italy too.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of Italy.
Yeah, I know. They're doing, well, they're flying to Rome, but spending time in Florence. They're spending time in Venice. And then they're going, also shoulder season is this is like such a great time to be traveling to the Italian Riviera, staying in Santa Margherita Ligure, which is this gorgeous, gorgeous property right on the water. So they're doing like the city time, but then they're ending with like 4 nights on the water, chill right by the sea. And I don't know if you've been to northern Italy, like the Riviera and Liguria. I absolutely love it. It's funny, I've actually not been to the Amalfi Coast or Sorrento, which is kind of surprising considering Italy is like one of my top. I mean, I've been to Napoli, I've been to Ischia, so I've been to that area. But when it comes to the seaside, I am like so in love with the Riviera and like the north side of it. I've actually been to that area twice and like cannot wait to go back because it's
Well, I think that's
so,
great because
so
everyone
stunning.
knows about Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast. Everyone asks about it. But, I think it's good to have another option that most people do not know about. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. And I work on Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast all the time. I'm happy to send clients there. They love going there. But I also love being able to recommend other spots that are not quite as busy. They're also going to have such a fantastic, beautiful experience on the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where are you going next? What else you got on the calendar?
So I have a couple of just short trips. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to San Francisco. But then my next biggest trip is in a couple of weeks. I'm going to the ILTM Luxury Conference in the Bahamas.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I was supposed to go to that, but I'm hosting a group. I think I had told you about it before. I'm leaving in a couple weeks, going to Paris for 3 nights. And then I'm going to Provence for the first time on an AMA Waterways river cruise. So after 3 nights in Paris, we'll be taking the train down to Lyon. And then the river cruise will go from Lyon down to Arles for a week. And part of why I chose this itinerary is because it's really just concentrated to Provence. Like a lot of river cruises, they're kind of this grand itinerary that will cover a lot of cities, multiple countries, but this is like a concentrated route. So there are going to be several nights where we aren't actually moving, and we're just going to be staying in Lyon the first 2 nights, and we'll be in Avignon overnight. So it gives us a little bit more immersion into the area. And then after the 7 nights, we'll take a train to Barcelona and spend 3 nights in Spain. But that's why I will not be at ILTM North America, because I will be in France at that time.
Then we can just, have another recap session, except we'll be wearing, I'll have to wear a different hat. I'll have to get some kind of sun hat.
I know. I'm so sad I didn't have my hat to wear today, because this would have been our perfect hat episode.
You're going to have to get a beret from France.
I don't know about that. Maybe next time I'll wear, unless I do some like incredible beret making excursion or something like that, which is not on my radar.
I got a handmade hat the last time I was on a river cruise. It was in Chesky Krumlov.
Did you?
I got a handmade hat, yes, and it's amazing. Maybe I'll wear that next time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Is this a hat podcast now? Is that where we live?
Maybe it's hot takes and hats.
That's a hot take. I love that. I have to figure out. I have some fun hats I could pull out. I don't know. Some hats with stories. But yeah, that's it. This was so good to catch up with you as always. And please, if you enjoy us, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we're excited to share more travel hot takes with you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Travel Hot Takes with Josh and Allison. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.